Hello and welcome to the tavern. Tonight's episode was sponsored by Mad World. Check them out at www.itsworldmadness.com. Also, check out the Tavern X Mad World hoodie on sale now. You don't want to miss it. Go ahead and head over to It's World Madness and pick that up. If you guys enjoyed the show tonight and want to buy us a coffee, our Cash App is scrolling at the bottom. We'd greatly appreciate it. We are two very tired dads that could use a cup of coffee. Tonight, we have a very special guest for you all. Her name is Eva, and she is a more authentic, joyful, balanced life, stress management, whatever way you can think of making your life better and reducing that stress. She's here to help you with it tonight. Miss Eva, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. We really cannot wait to get this show on the road. As always, my guest host, Landon. How are you, sir?
Hey, we're fine. Good.
Fine. What is that you always tell me? We're powered by StreamYard, is that right?
Yes, most certainly. We are definitely powered by StreamYard. We have our resident ducks as well. Yep.
Good old Puddles here. You know, everybody give Puddles his daily pats.
So,
I forgot to do it. Okay, we planned something. We need to do it again. Special guest, Eva. That's new. I hope you like it.
Love it. That's awesome.
Thanks for liking the broadcast and thanks for becoming a follower. We really appreciate you joining our tavern family. So, Landon, would you care to open us up with the first question? I do not have the list ready, so if you've already got it popped up, I'm pulling it up now.
That's fine. We're going to take a second to hear. Miss Eva, would you tell us, who you are and, kind of a little bit about yourself and what you're about?
Yeah, so my name is Eva. I'm the founder of Eva Wellness, and my journey is into adaptive yoga and mind-body specialty, mind-body specialist. It's integrating the mind and the body together because not only am I an adaptive yoga therapist, but I'm also a nurse, and that's how I transitioned into all of this. In the medical model, a lot of times we're not looking at what's happening in the body is happening also in the mind. It's affecting the mind. And what's happening in the mind is also affecting the body. But combining all of that together, you get this really amazing process of being able to create change in yourself, to create a calm, create energy, create a stabilization for different situations. So I started out working with clients that were kind of similar to me, have some chronic pain, have some flexibility issues that needed something slightly different than what you find in a traditional yoga class. And it turned into this whole entire world of stress management. And so now I'm working with nurses, I'm working with other people in the medical field, working with veterans, first responders, anybody with chronic pain or a chronic illness that they're just wanting to have a better day. They're wanting to have more control over their body. They're wanting to have more peace in their body. And it doesn't have to be huge changes. We're just talking about little subtle changes that you make based off of what you feel in your body. And so that has become incredibly rewarding, and it's my passion, and I love being able to help people feel better in their day, in their life, and in their body.
For sure.
Love that. I love that we can highlight your passion. I can see it when you talk, how much it just strikes a spark for you, and that's so cool.
Hey, thanks.
How would you define authenticity, and what does it mean to you to live an authentic life?
Oh, well, having grown up as a chronic people pleaser and a someone that was always afraid to say no or to show the real version of myself a lot of times.
Amen.
I spent my teens and my 20s kind of fighting against who I was
As
deep
most
down.
do, I think.
Oh,
And in my 30s and 40s, I said, you know what?
I'm
Fuck
done.
that. I'm going to, have purple hair. I'm going to have my tattoos. I am going to be me, unapologetically me. And you either love me, you either don't love me. I say I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay because I prefer coffee.
Amen. By the way, can I just say I love your tavern purple hair.
yes.
Yay! That's awesome. I did notice that you guys have that nice little purple in the
Tavern
background
purple,
there.
that's our
So
thing.
yeah, love it. Absolutely love it.
Want to take a moment and just say hi, Kathy. Thank you. We're glad you love the topic, and you are absolutely right. Nurses rock. Marcus, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. Everybody over on Reality, especially you, Chloe. I did not forget to say hi. I was just trying to be polite. So hello, Chloe. Consistency with a K. You're always here. We always love you, and we always appreciate you. Let's move on to our next topic here. What role do you believe purpose and values play in creating a sense of authenticity and fulfillment in our lives? And I can reread that if you need me to reread that, because that was a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Read that one more time because it is the evening.
Yeah, that's a big question. What role do you believe purpose and values play when creating that sense of authenticity and fulfillment in our lives?
Oh, they're huge. They're just absolutely huge. Purpose and value. If you don't understand your purpose and you're not in alignment with your values, it's very difficult for you to be you.
Absolutely.
And understanding that the version of you that exists in this moment only exists in this moment. A lot of us get really hung up on, well, when I was 16, I was able to do this, or in my 20s, I could do this. And, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about your ability to be able to knock back 6 beers and wake up the next morning and be able to do whatever, or whether you're talking about, well, I used to be able to run 15 miles and I had no issues. Why is it that I can't just go out and knock out 15 miles now?
That's because the day you turn 30, the check engine light for your knees comes on. So I can vouch for that.
Yes. My husband's favorite line now is eat all the cheap pizza you can while you're in your 20s, because after 30, you just
the heartburn, indigestion, it doesn't work.
Exactly. So yeah, purpose and value. If you to have a really good grasp of what your purpose is in life, that's how you have happiness in this moment.
That's what I'm talking about.
And yeah, it's just finding those moments throughout the day where is that in alignment with what I want? Is that in alignment with who I am? And being able to say, this doesn't work for me, I appreciate that. Yeah.
That is huge.
Something that I like to say, I used to stress about everything in my early teens and 20s, and in my late 20s into now, 32. I kind of just let go. And I like to say, I like to surf on the waves of life, because, if you fight against the current, you're not going to go anywhere and you're going to tire yourself out. And it's just going to be so painful because you're going to continue to fail and you expect so much to happen when nothing will happen, and it'll even pull you back. So it's best if you ride the wave and let life take you where you're meant to go.
I'm working on that.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I'm going to be quoting you on that because that's such a great analogy of being able to be okay with the process of what's in my path,
Right.
instead of trying to force a situation that may be leading to something that really wasn't meant to be for you. And there's so many other amazing opportunities that you're missing out on because you're tunnel visioned and focused on if this is what has to happen.
Yes, it helps to live a stress-free life.
I am so trying to work on that because my biggest problem and my biggest stressor, number one, is myself. Because I will be thinking 72 years into the future, the butterfly effect, how this caused this to happen, and why I need this decision makes this decision happen. And I'm so focused on not even just tomorrow, but decisions I should never even be considering right now. And I'm too busy doing that when I should just be looking at right now, in this moment, my life's not so bad. And I'm enjoying the things that are happening right now. And I'm trying really hard to make leaps and bounds in that area of my life.
I do have another analogy too, if you'd like to hear that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So life is like
let's hear it.
Life is like a mountain,
Box of
and
chocolates.
neither one of us are mountain climbers, you know. So we go to climb this mountain of life, and we fall down. Right? We don't have any of this cool equipment or nothing. We don't know nothing about it, right? And it hurts. It hurts to fall. You know, we climbed up 10 feet and fell off onto our backs, and we're like, oh, this sucks, right? But we get back up because as humans, we're stubborn, you know. So we get back up. We climb a little further. We're a little bit stronger now, but we keep falling down, right? And then, you know, we're thinking about giving up, and all of a sudden, here comes this resident mountain climber just walking by and says, "Hey, man, you should go get some ropes and, you know, some those clips and tie that so it helps you climb up. And that way, if you fall, you don't fall all the way back down to the ground." And you're like, wow, you know, that's true. I should try that. So you go get some mountain climbing gear and you start working your way up. Yeah, you're going to have some trips and falls, but it's not as bad now. You've already been through it. You know what to expect, you know, and you're learning. And, you know, while you're in that process, you're talking to more mountain climbers, people who have gone through this stuff, and that you're learning from and how to adapt it to make it fit for you. And eventually you're going to climb that mountain and you're going to get to the top and you're going to plant your flag and you're going to be so proud of yourself and you're going to look around and see how beautiful the entire world is. But the one thing that we have to remember is that once we get to the top, we can't just sit there and admire it all day and grow this giant ego. We have to turn around and help the next person. We have to reach our hand out and say, hey, I got you. Come on up. You know?
Yes. I think the only thing that I would add to that would be stopping along the way to give yourself credit for the amount that you have gone up, and to turn around and enjoy the view, because it's not just the process of getting up the mountain, but it's also what can you learn along the way and what can you enjoy in that moment.
Sure. I think baby steps are the most important steps that anybody can take.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
Small steps equal big goals. You know? Fulfillment.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I take a moment and just say thank you to all of our people over on Reality? They have already gotten us up to 1,338 likes. So you guys are amazing. Keep showing the love. I think Miss Eva deserves it tonight. Y'all just keep dropping the love for her. We would really appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yay.
So let me hit you with another question here. Can you discuss your own experiences with finding balance and joy in your life, and how were you able to achieve that?
So going back to what you were talking about, Brandon, I, having been an ICU nurse for a decade, in the medical field for 20 years, my first thought is always doom and gloom.
You're right.
And it's not always okay, rainbows and unicorns and everything's all fun and wonderful. That process has been a lifelong process, but it's really happened mostly in the last 8 years
Mhm.
of really transitioning into how can I just view what's happening and look at all of the components of it first before I make that reaction. Um, and it's been a lot of growth in the last few years. The process of becoming a yoga therapist really helped me a lot in that, because in order to be able to teach that, you got to embrace all of the
Yep.
concepts of it and be able to apply it to your own life.
You have to live through it.
Absolutely.
Yes. And it's not easy. It's not pretty. There's a whole lot of ugly crying going on, and there's that whole I did what I was who, and then just offering yourself that kindness and compassion and reducing the amount of judgment. I say non-judgment, but we're all human, and there comes in that time where I think, oh man, I can't believe I said that, and then it's like, why did I say that? Well, now I'm judging myself for judging myself.
True.
And
Very
so it's an everyday process of how did I do and what can I do today to make me better at being me.
Self-love, man.
Exactly. There's
I'm
so
all
many
about it.
times that people apologize for things that they don't need to apologize for. And like, love yourself. Don't apologize, especially for who you are or the things you do. Just love yourself because you are amazing. You are wonderful. You are valued. You deserve more than what you are allowing yourself to be.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, half the time, the worst critic that we have is between our ears.
I literally, so I'm doing things about it, but I realized the other day, well, I say the other day, it's been about a month ago, that when I looked down, I felt like I looked like a rotisserie chicken. I saw my dad belly and I'm like, I don't like this. And every time I looked in the mirror, I didn't like who I was or what I looked like. And I've been, changing my diet, working out, making myself feel better about myself. But it's difficult when you look in the mirror and don't like who you are, but you've got to find a way to like who you are because you are worth it, regardless of what you think you see. Because everyone else is like, no, you're fine. You look fine. Like, what are you worried about? But when I looked down, I couldn't see my belt buckle and was like, I look like a rotisserie chicken. I'm so round, and everyone else was like, dude, you're worrying about too much. Like, you're fine. And it's hard sometimes to realize that things aren't as bad as they seem because you're in your own head yelling at yourself 24/7, you know?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, I think the one of the biggest things that we forget is we're always we're comparing ourselves to somebody else, but what we're not seeing is the conversation that's going on inside of their head. And we think, oh wow, look at Sam. They've, got everything all together. They got this, they got that, or look at Jerry, everything's going wonderful in Jerry's life, and we're not hearing that inner dialogue. We're not seeing the things that are happening there. And we're trying hard to be like someone else because we think they're happy instead of working on trying to be more fully ourselves.
Amen.
A lot of people that when you say self-love, right? A lot of people go to, oh, self-love is saying, hey, I don't care what everybody else thinks of me. I got me. I'm a 10, and having that self-confidence. But really what self-love to me is you loving yourself like you would love somebody else. When I went through that whole process, I was like, yeah, I hated myself. I hated everything. I didn't like me, and I didn't know who I was, and
Bro. Yeah.
and so I started to do things. I started to, my love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. Well, I mean, I could give myself a hug, I guess, or hold my own hand. I don't know. But what I started doing is every morning when I wake up, I look in that mirror and I say, "You are one good-looking man."
There
You
you
know,
go.
and present that light energy, and I focus it to I look myself dead in the eye, and I tell myself that I love you, you know, and I take myself out on dates. Well, not right now, because I'm half broke. But when I have the extra funding or whatever, I once a week I'll take myself out on a date. I will sit there in that table. I will get served food. I will put a movie on my cell phone and watch it while I eat. Dinner and a show, and
Landon,
it makes me feel so great.
I think maybe you have brought that story up one too many times. Chloe said, "We're talking about love languages again."
Yeah, because we talked about love languages last night.
I know, I'm just giving you hell.
Oh,
She's over
oh,
there in the comments section, like, really, Landon?
all this gaslighting going on,
He loves himself, if you can't tell. Landon has learned. He's gone from being
But
a broken man to somebody who genuinely cares for himself, and it's really
right,
a beautiful transformation. If you've had, like, I've been there for the whole thing, so I've seen him at rock bottom, and seeing him now being as confident as he is, it's really a beautiful thing. He's made leaps and bounds.
well, you see, the thing
That's
too
awesome.
is when you find rock bottom, right? There's nowhere you don't go down anymore. The only place you can go is up. And you have to understand that yes, it is dark. Yes, it's terrifying to be here and in this depressive state. It's death defying, you know. But when there's just a little dot of light, right? We have to learn how to take that darkness and use it as fuel to propel ourselves to that little speck of light. And eventually that little light gets brighter. And until it gets so bright that there's only one little speck of darkness, in that window, right? And a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, we got to get rid of that because we don't want that." I say, no, leave that. You leave that there so that you know how far you came, and you know that the process is working for you. It's a constant cycle, and you have to constantly put the positive energy back into yourself. It's okay to focus your light and radiate on people who need it the most, but you have, and this was the hardest thing I had to learn, was to turn that light around onto me and shine for myself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes, absolutely.
for the next question here, how can we better connect with our own emotions and needs and prioritize our own well-being in our daily lives?
So I have this process of developing awareness and listening to the signals that your body sends. So, your body is constantly telling you, it's constantly giving you feedback. The way that you eat, the way that you breathe, the way that you sleep, and the way that you move. And every day, your body gives you like a little report card and says, you did fantastic, you've got lots of energy today, or your choices really kind of weren't so amazing yesterday. So today's energy level, today's mood, today's ability to be able to move, they're kind of they're smaller, they're more diminished, they're not so fantastic. And when we have a tendency to really just run nonstop and burn the candles at both ends for days, weeks, months, eventually the body kicks in and says, you're done. You just, you wake up and you're trying to turn off the alarm clock and you don't even have the energy to reach over. Your
Mhm.
body said, you are cut off. You are literally done. We're creating a break, and you all your decision-making privileges have been revoked. Our ability to be able to listen in so that before that shutdown happens, being able to develop that awareness of listening to those signals, hearing the small signals, the softer signals, and making changes in our day, in the things that we do. That's how, that right there is the essence of self-care. So, how I practice my self-care is going to be very different from how you practice your self-care, Brandon, and it's going to be different for Landon, how you practice your self-care, because each one of us is very different with unique needs, and that process of being able to listen to all of those signals, I can't do that for you. That has to be something that you do, and you do the work on that.
Right. I can give you the
the
outline.
more you do it, exactly. And the more you do it, the better you get at it.
I know for me, I'm starting my journey of self-love and self-care. I'm currently going through a separation. And so for me, self-care looks like yesterday, I called Landon over and said, hey, you want to go grocery shopping with me? And he went out grocery shopping with me and my daughter. And we went down to the mall and we grabbed a slice of New York style pizza. And we sat down in the play area and let her play The Floor is Lava with the other kids and just walked through the bookstore and looked at books. And that was me practicing self-love yesterday. And so it looks different for anyone and everyone.
Yes. Yeah. For some people, it's going for a walk outside. For other people, it's turning the ringer off on their phone and hiding under the covers with Netflix and just decompressing for a while. Whatever it is, whether it's getting together with a friend, whether it's getting together with family, whether it's just simply going for a walk, sitting next to a pond or next to a river, or whatever it is, however it is that brings you that sense of peace and balance and joy, doing more of those things in that moment when you're feeling depleted.
Yes. Amen. Landon, you want to take the next question?
How can we work toward reducing stress and anxiety in our lives, particularly in the context of work and our careers? Some hard-hitting questions.
As a nurse, I know that I've come home and I could have sworn that there was a vent going off in my closet. I would spend my day off feeling guilty that I didn't have the energy to be able to pick up another shift because I knew they were going to be short at work that night. So all of those things, those are real stressors on us, not to mention the stresses that happen while you're at work.
Very true.
It's trying to find those moments of bringing peace, bringing a moment of clarity, bringing a moment of confidence into, can I step away for a minute? Can I step away for 2 minutes before I walk into this office and have this discussion with somebody? What can I do to get myself in the headspace to be fully present? That I'm not taking the anger, the frustration that I had with this person over here and bringing it with me when I come into this conversation with this person. And then developing those healthy boundaries where you're able to say...
Boundaries. I wish more people understood that concept.
No is a complete sentence.
Yes. And people think,
no, but...
oh, you're being controlling. No, I'm setting boundaries. And if you can't follow those boundaries in my life, you don't need to be in it. No one's controlling.
It can be something as simple...
I can't handle.
It can be as simple as saying, let me check my calendar and I'll get back with you to see if that fits in my schedule, instead of the automatic, sure, I can add that one more thing onto my plate.
I have that problem.
Yeah, he does.
For me though, like at work and I just say in general, but anytime I feel an emotion, like if I get frustrated, I will walk away. I will go find somewhere where there's nobody around, and I take 5 minutes. I will literally put a timer on for 5 minutes, and I will fully feel that emotion for that 5 minutes. And after that, I sit down, nice deep breath in, refocus, and I get back on it. It's, it goes into a clarity. And now I'm not bottling up that emotion. I'm not, sucking it down, because that sucking that down creates that little ball. And eventually that ball's going to explode. And you're going to take it out on somebody who didn't deserve it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if we release
Yes.
that energy, in a creative way, it could even be productive. Some people's outline for that is, let me go, reorganize all my clothes in my drawers. Stress cleaning and stuff, or whatever you call
Oh,
it.
I stress
You know,
clean. If you will know if I'm mad, because my house will be spotless. I won't speak to you. I will clean until all of my stress and anger is gone. I will clean, and I just won't speak because I don't have nothing nice to say. So I'm just not gonna let it come out of my mouth. And then once I'm not angry anymore, I'll come back and I'll talk to you. The house is gonna be clean.
Yes, absolutely. It's that expending that energy instead of, I love how you put it, Landon, with, that ball of anger. If we don't expend that energy, that ball of anger stays in us,
Mhm.
and it goes into the muscles, it goes into the organs, and that's the seat of chronic illness.
Yep,
That's where it starts.
it really does. That because when you hold in anger and frustration and other issues like that, you literally can build up inflammation. Like it causes physical retaliation in your body for not helping keep your emotions in check. Also, hello, Angel. Welcome to the stream. Also, want to say thank you guys over on Reality for our 3,068 likes. You guys are amazing. Keep that up. We really, really appreciate you. So, our next question for you, can you share some success stories from your work with individuals who have found greater balance and joy in their lives? And how were they able to achieve that?
Ah, um, so working with clients, especially working with ICU nurses that
Right.
are able to choose the activities that really bring them joy, that they have an outlet, that when they're not at work, they have something that they go to immediately. And so that process of being able to have something that they know, okay, I've got to get through these 3 days at work, but when I'm done, I get to go here and I get to spend all of my time doing this activity, and that brings me joy. That's my outlet. That has been fantastic. Working with clients that have had fibromyalgia, and they've been able to have days where they don't have the level of pain that they had before, because they started working on paying attention and giving themselves permission to just sit and relax, and to be able to connect with their breath and release some of that tension. And part of the pain was due to the tension and the stress that they were holding in their body.
Mm.
I had one client that was always walking around with her hands like this, and she didn't realize that she was doing that. And so when we first started working together, the first homework that I gave her was just simply paying attention to what her hands were doing, and then connecting with her breath. And when she started to do that, she noticed that she could start adding a little bit more movement into her day and not needing as many of the pain medications that she was using. So, when I'm working with clients, they're also working with their physicians, with their providers. When somebody's able to not need pain injections in their low back anymore, or they're able to come off blood pressure medication, they're able to reduce the amount of medications that they're on. That for me is it's absolutely amazing. That is one of the reasons why I left working at the bedside to work independent, to work with clients privately, was to have that connection, to be able to change. Now, I'm not doing the work, but to be able to help somebody to be able to improve their life and to improve the quality of their life, that in itself, I mean, if I can do that for one person, everything that I've done, it's totally worthwhile.
It's worth it, right? It's definitely worth it.
Absolutely.
I think one thing that I could say on that is that you have to want it. You have to want to fight for it. But I definitely understand, the sense of needing to relax. I mean, my house is a bachelor pad, so it's not always the cleanest ship shape looking house in the world, but I would sit down, I would clean a room, and I would say, all right, that's it for the day. I made progress, and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, because it's very stressful, and I was like, look at this. Look at what I did today.
That's right.
I think that is awesome. Yeah, and that's what I say. I'm so proud of you for getting this done. Like, you did a great job. And then I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Oh, shucks.
I want to take a second and say thank you to everyone on Reality. Chloe dropped, when you were talking, Eva, Chloe dropped you like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 star stickers she gifted for you. So Chloe, thank you. Really appreciate that. And they've gotten us up to 3,543 likes right now.
Aw, thank you. That's so sweet.
Chloe's our consistency with a K. She's in every stream, always comes back. And Angel's dropping. She just dropped another 20, 30 star stickers. Uh-oh, I think there's a little competition going on. There's 40 more stickers. They like you. I think there's a gift battle going on.
Thank you.
I like that. We got a gift battle going on. Who can donate the most gifts this stream? That'd be great.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. But I think, talking about that, we don't give ourselves permission enough to be able to celebrate those small wins, to say,
yes.
I got out of bed today and I felt like crap. I had no energy, but I got out of bed. Or even the opposite. I decided to work from bed today because, I don't know, it was cold and I didn't want to get out from underneath the covers.
Because it was for me.
It was for me. I decided to just stay here and, snuggle in my robe and drink coffee and have a moment of just, I don't know, watching whatever I wanted to, or reading a book, or just simply listening to music.
Yes.
I like that you mentioned the small wins, because the small wins are the biggest wins in my eyes. Like, you got up. That's great.
Yes.
All you did was take a shower today and make sure you ate at least one meal. You're winning. And that might not be a lot for a lot of people, but it's something.
Exactly.
And it's the conscious decision to do something, and it's always going to be a win. And honestly, I think nobody should ever take that for granted.
And don't let anybody take that win away from you.
Correct.
You did something fantastic. You ate a vegetable when you hate vegetables. You ate one vegetable. Awesome. Love it.
There is so many times so I work night shift, right? So I'm not necessarily kind to my body all the times. And there are times where I will go to lunch and I say, you know what? When was the last time I had something good for myself? So the other night, like I picked up a naked juice, and I know it's got all those fruits and vegetables blended into a nice little smoothie, and I'm like, you know
Great.
what?
Yeah.
It's a little something. I did good. I didn't pick up another energy drink because I mean, even right now, I got a Monster right here. But proud of myself, I got the Monster with juice this time, so at least it's mostly juice. So that was a small win for me. I picked the better Monster of the two that I could have chosen. But
Yes.
you know, it's the little things.
Yes.
I just need to circle on back around. I asked our moderator if she'll count them up for me, but Angel's still going, dropping sticker gifts. She took this personally.
That's awesome. Yay.
I can't wait to see how many it is at the end. And we're up to 4,127 likes. They really enjoy you over there on Reality.
Yes, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I hope they're also soaking in the information and then taking it home and
Right.
practicing this.
The most
that
important.
that will be even more. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Angel took that competition personally, and she is still going. I don't know how much it's going to be when it's done. She's donating stickers in batches of 10. She's giving all her points away at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Angel. You are awesome.
So, how do you think we could work towards building a more, authentic and fulfilling relationships and connections with our communities? And what benefits do you think that can bring into our lives?
Love that question.
Mhm.
So, to bring more authentic relationships with your community starts with you. Starts with your relationship with you. The more authentic you are with yourself, the more you're giving yourself kindness, compassion, reducing the judgment. When you do that for yourself, it's just like any other exercise. You want bigger biceps, then you're lifting weights. You're doing the different things that you need to build biceps. To develop that practice of kindness and compassion and non-judgment with other people, it has to be happening inside your mind as well too, because to be able to look at someone else and try to understand, not to know what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes, but to try to understand what it could possibly be like to walk in somebody else's shoes. We have to be able to have that kindness and compassion for ourselves, and then practice that with other people as well too. To understand that what somebody says, 90% of what somebody says has nothing to do with us.
Correct.
It has to do with what's going on inside of them. I mean, if I walk into the kitchen and somebody says something to me and I immediately just snap and start going into, hangry mode.
Yeah.
Being able to stop in that moment and think, okay, why am I behaving this way? And to cut that for a moment and say, okay, hang on, let me eat something, let me do something, let me walk outside and walk back in. But then when you do that for yourself, then you can turn it around and you can look at someone, and when they're behaving in a way that isn't their norm, or you're meeting somebody and it's just kind of like this little bit of a abrasiveness, to be able to take that step back and say, I wonder what's going on with this person right now. I'm like, are they always like this, or is this just something else? It's kind of like when you're driving in traffic and somebody's zinging all over the place, and you think, well, what is it that's, why are they in such a hurry? What's going on in their life? What's going on in their day? Is that just their norm, or is, maybe they got a pregnant wife in the back seat that, about to go into labor? I don't know. I can't see in the back seat. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. So it's flipping that and trying to be understanding, even if, and I don't know, maybe that's the way that person is. But if that's the way that person is, then living in that headspace,
it's got to be difficult.
It's got to be difficult. So how do we have compassion for that?
I think the best saying for that, especially in altercations and the hard communication, is that we have to listen to understand, not to respond.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
before I ask my question, I just want to say Angel donated all 900 points that she had, and she said all on star stickers because we are stars, and she has nicknamed you Pink now. That is your nickname for her. You're Pink. I don't know why. That's her thing.
Aw, that's awesome.
My question
Thank
for you is, and this isn't a question we had pre-listed out, just one that I personally want an answer to. I struggle with sensory overload. Okay. So like that anxiety if there's too much going on at once, and eventually if that's too much, sometimes I panic and it's like stop, like everything needs to stop, everything needs to be quiet. I can't do anything else right now. How would you say I could best put practices into my life to overcome sensory overload when I find myself feeling that way? How do I get out of it without creating a negative response? There was a time, for example, with the ex-wife where we were driving in the car and I'm focusing on the GPS, trying to drive, make sure I'm going where I need to go. The baby's screaming in the back seat, and she has, like, I can see her in the rearview mirror getting ready to spill stuff all over my jacket. And I'm like, it's going to be freezing tonight and I'm going to need that at work. And I was just like, get it. And she's like, get what? I'm just get it. And then I was like, she's like, what? And I was like, I'm sorry, the jacket. She's going to spill stuff on my jacket. And I snapped in that moment, and I raised my voice. And I'm not a guy that raises my voice. So in that moment, she got really upset with me in that. That's one of those things where I'm just like, how do I not let myself get to that point where the sensory overload causes me to lose my temper? Where do I fix that?
Part of this is giving yourself permission to not be perfect. And so in that moment, being able to say, I'm in sensory overload, or I don't have all of my tools at the moment. Bear with me, whatever it is. And coming back to what we were talking about earlier with all of those, how am I eating? How am I sleeping? How am I moving? How am I breathing? Having some type of practice that you do, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the evening, but having a little reminder on your phone, something where you say, check in with Brandon. How's Brandon doing right now?
True.
And then, is it good? Is it not so good? Is it maybe really, really not so good? Okay, then what are the tools? Having a self-care toolbox.
Yes.
Where you say, okay, I know I need to do some deep breathing. I need to do some belly breathing.
Yes.
And having a few things that can help you get centered in that moment to be able to create that change for yourself, to bring you from really, really not so good to maybe a little bit closer towards good.
Exactly.
The more you exhale, the more you bring calm and balance. So the longer exhales, those are all parasympathetic nervous system soothing moments.
Preferably with fresh air, not AC air.
Yes,
because
outside.
So I practice druidry, and I see things a lot differently, and the trees, they produce this positive energy flow of air for us to breathe in, and we should be breathing this in. The inhale is bringing in the good, and the exhale is releasing the bad.
Absolutely.
So taking that deep breath is helping to reshape your body into a positive light.
Yes. So Landon,
first of all, one more question
into this. I want to say, just again, thank you to everyone over on Reality. You guys have been great tonight. But Landon, we are down to that last 10-minute window. Do you
Yep.
want to go with Mom?
I got one more question, and then we'll get to that one.
You sure?
Yeah. What message would you like to share with our audience to inspire and motivate them to live a more authentic, joyful, and balanced life?
Well, you surprised me with that question. Okay, go ahead. Wasn't expecting that one.
That you are absolutely amazing. There is no other person like you in the world. There's only one you. Even if you're a twin, there is only one you. And so stepping into who you are and giving yourself permission to fall down sometimes, to not get it right, but to do so with kindness and compassion and non-judgment, to, say, I didn't handle that situation incredibly well. Let's try this again. I own my mess ups. I own my attempts to be better. Yes.
There you go.
And then practicing that self-care that's you specific. What do you need? Is it a cup of coffee? Is it, taking a walk?
Yes. Doing
something. I get out of my shell a little bit, and like I'll do some like weird, crazy little dance or something, and be all funky, and then I'll laugh at myself for doing that. But I'm also releasing serotonin for myself.
Yes.
So just for example, today I'm in the kitchen and I got my phone blasting a song called I Think I Like When It Rains. And me and my daughter are just spinning around the living room in the kitchen, dancing and singing out loud to this song. And it was just a moment where I was like, I'm going to be okay. Everything I've got is wonderful. I can appreciate when it rains. And it does something good for the soul, And I do want to say over on Reality, they said pink sounds pretty with a big smiley face. So y'all need to come over and watch the live stream and you'd know she was pretty.
Yeah.
There.
So for our last and final question.
Put the hammer down, Landon.
What is one question that you wish we would have asked you, and how would you have answered that question?
Oh, wow. Okay. What is one question that I was hoping for?
I shocked the world the first time I asked that question on our podcast ever. Everybody, Brandon, our guest, it was just you
don't expect it,
clear bombshell.
No. And it's very different from other podcasts. So you guys asked so many amazing questions. I think you guys had some really, really good questions. One question that I would have liked was, what is a mistake that you made in life that helped you in your struggles or in your self-care practices?
It's great. That's a great question.
And I say that because it took me until just a few years ago to stop using the word mistake. And instead, it's become a way for me to learn what wasn't for me.
Amen.
Regardless of what the decision was, I made a decision and I learned whether or not that serves me or whether or not it was the right direction for me. And sometimes even that shift still helps you come into what was meant to be for you.
Sure, because you took that negative and you turned it into a positive.
Absolutely.
That's how we evolve as a person, is by learning what works for us and what doesn't.
For sure. It's like you were saying, we're all individuals. There is many like us, but there is none like us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just being Confucius tonight.
I love it. I love it.
Good old Master Shifu on top of the mountain.
Brandon
No,
will tell
over
you
on
this.
YouTube,
I always am. I just sit
He
down
is.
and not say anything until I'm Silent Bob.
Until it comes out of his mouth, you're just like, there's nothing going on in that head, and then he's just like, magic.
You've had some really, really good points, some very, very thoughtful, very introspective points tonight. So it's
Yes.
been
Over on
wonderful.
YouTube, they said, Pink, you're really pretty. I love your hair.
Well, thank you.
And I love that name. I'm not single. I'm dating myself. That is beautiful. I wish more
That
people
is fantastic.
should understand that. So, in closing, what is your just final words to our audience tonight?
Learn to trust that you are the best decision maker for yourself.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yep, you know your body more than anybody else knows your body.
Yes.
Trust that.
There's so many times where we go through a situation and we have those little feelings where we're like, I'm not sure if this is the right, it's kind of telling me no. And then we don't trust ourselves enough to be able to say, and then at hindsight, we look back and we think, man, I knew that wasn't what I should have done. And I still didn't. Why didn't I listen to myself?
Yes. I love that you say that because I used to be that way. And now it's like, I really don't know if I should do that. And now I'm just like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And it helps me to try new things, find out what I like and what I enjoy. And, if I don't like it, I can say, I didn't like it, but I tried it.
Exactly.
And then maybe somebody else come along and is like, I don't know. I'll be like, well, you know what? I did that one time and it was really fun. It wasn't for me, but you should definitely try it.
Yes. It's like the other day when we went out bowling, Landon. I had a buddy that I hadn't heard from in a while, and he was like, hey, I'm just checking on your mental health. How about you come on out to the bowling alley on Friday and just spend some time with us? And I sat there in the car with Landon and my daughter and was like, Landon, I really want to go home. He goes, then go home. I said, I can't. I need to do this. I need to do this for myself. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this tonight, but I got to go in that building and I got to do something. I can't sit in the house. And all I know is I've got a friend in there waiting to see me, and I know it's going to be a good night. And sure enough, we went in there, and I went, and he gave me a big hug, brought me in, introduced me to everybody. We went over to the bar, and I seen his wife, and I was like, hey, what's a guy got to do to get a couple soda pops around here? And she hooked me, Landon, and my daughter up with a free soda. Didn't even make us pay for it. She's like, no, it's on the house. Like, you're good. And that's good friends right there. Hadn't talked to them in years, and they come out of the woodwork to make sure I'm okay, and just made sure I had a safe, comfortable place to be. And I would never have known that or experienced it had I turned that car around and went home.
But you see, the thing too is with me saying, well, then, let's just go home then too, is a test.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, yeah, you're probably right. And I'm be like, no, I'm not right. We got to get in there.
That's what he would have done too. Yeah. He really would have.
Good. Yeah. I mean, we have a hormone called oxytocin that comes out during times of stress because it sends us to our friends. We're not meant to carry our battles by ourselves.
It's true.
Very true.
Take a village.
It does take a village. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so
absolutely.
I just want to say thank you so much for being on tonight. We greatly appreciated it. We've gotten so much love over on Reality. They're up to 6,011 likes. Angel says, I love your guys' podcast. I can't believe I missed half of this one, crying emoji. I'm so sorry for missing it. Angel, we love you. You're welcome all times, and it's okay. You can always come back tomorrow, and you won't miss that one. I know it. But we appreciate you being here. We appreciate all the love that everyone has shown. I ask one final push. How many more likes can we get before this episode's over? Y'all show Eva some love. Just please hit that like button. Show them what's up. Landon, do you have any words of closing before I send us on out for the night?
Well, I'm going to start with our guest, Miss Eva. I definitely really appreciate you being on the show. When you put out your little bio and your picture and stuff, I was just like, I like the vibe.
Yep, that's good,
You
people.
know,
That's how we pick
Use
our guests. It's all about
great,
the vibe.
great emojis right off the bat, and I was like, oh, she's very bubbly. I like that. That's cool. I mean, I'm introverted, so like excitement and stuff. I'm like, oh, you're excited. That's cool. But I do appreciate the vibe, and I appreciate what you do, um, for yourself. I appreciate what you do for other people, and I think that the best course of action is just to keep on doing it because you're shining a light on so many people who might not see that yet, and it's inspiring. So definitely thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me here with you tonight. This has been just an absolute joy, and I'm excited to be able to come back and just participate and watch you guys with another guest. That'll be fantastic.
Actually,
I'll
that's
have
funny you
my
say that because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yep.
So we might have to make that happen.
Yeah, we need to get you back on
yes.
the show. An hour is just not long enough for the kind of conversation that we have. You know.
Anytime, anytime. I'm super excited to be able to come back again.
I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. I hope tonight you guys learned a little something. Hopefully, you guys have some things to think about. Send you home with a little homework tonight. I want you to practice self love tonight. I want you to look yourself in the mirror and I want you to say, I am enough. I am joyful. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I want you to look yourself in that mirror. Practice self love tonight. Please, I'm from us at the tavern because we love you, we appreciate you, and you are worthy. You are worth something. So, as always, guys, thanks for stopping by the tavern.